G'day YouTube viewer, g'day bikers. The impromptu ride today, I looked out the window and it was glorious outside for a midwinter's day, so I thought I have to jump on a bike quickly and get out and enjoy it. And it prompted me to ask this question: can you have just as much fun on a small scooter as any other bike? Now, I'm fortunate to own everything from this 110cc scooter up to a 1.86 litre Harley Davidson cruiser, and everything in between in all capacities, liquid and air cooled. And I have to say, I get equal enjoyment from just about everyone for all very different reasons. But can this little bike be just as enjoyable as those, as all the others? And I'd have to say, spoiler alert, the answer is definitely a big yes. And it's because of its simplicity. I guess I ride this bike a lot like a cruiser, in that I'm never in a hurry to get anywhere on it. When I do mount the saddle, it's very much not stressful in any way. It's just for a relaxing and enjoyable ride. And it's so easy to use, which I'm going to come back to in a moment. Now, I mentioned I tend to ride it a bit like a cruiser, in that I'm just coasting around, often in local streets and things, not so much out on the open road, and just enjoying the day, the climate, the views, the warmth, the sunshine, the light breeze. But the big difference, of course, is this bike is a tenth of the power of my Harley Davidson Heritage Softail Classic and a third of the weight. So this comes in at just over 100 kilos. The Heritage is around 330 kilos. This has 110cc, where the Heritage is around 1,868 by memory. This weighs, I think I said this weighs 110 kilos, it weighs 330 kilos. So it's a third of the weight, tenth of the power. And what that means is it's really light and easy, doesn't have the acceleration, but the just coasting along, laid back feel is very much the same. Just much easier and more manageable in terms of moving the bike around, but of course in terms of out on the open road, more stability, less affected by the wind. The Harley wins hands down. Probably the greatest advantage and the biggest enjoyment I get from this bike is like today. I wake up, sun's out, I just want to hop on a bike and ride. With all my other bikes, it takes me at least 20 minutes to half an hour, and often an hour, to get ready, kit up, do all the things I need to do, check tyre, oil, all those things. I do that on this bike every week, but not with every ride, because I'm not going as far on it, so I'm less worried about getting stranded and things like that. But I still do keep some diligence on all those things and making sure it doesn't get low on oil and the tyres deflate too much. But if you're checking them every week, your tyres are never going to be a problem unless there's a leak or something like that. But the ease of use, it's so easy. I just go into the garage. If it's in an awkward place to move around, I can just pick it up and move it around. I can put it on the stand or the side stand really easily. I just basically hop on it and ride. And so from that point of view, I can quickly get out and enjoy the day. Another great advantage of it is, because it can't accelerate quickly, I find it's very hard to accidentally go over the speed limit. So it's nearly impossible to be doing the wrong thing on it. And at slow speed, even though it is slow speed, it's so light and flickable, you're still enjoying it because you can throw it around a corner, and still have fun while going slowly. There's that old saying, of course, it's more enjoyable to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. And of course, when you get into super bikes, 200 horsepower and things like that, it's nearly impossible to ride them fast or anywhere near their capacity. But I'm not a track day person, but I'm sure that would be very, very, very enjoyable to be able to get one of those bikes up to a performance level or anywhere near close to it. It would be amazing. As it is, most of my bikes are around 900 to 1100 cc's. Most of them are around 90 to 120 horsepower, and so that's great for the road. That's ideal for road riding. Any more than that, I wouldn't be able to extract what they're capable of doing bring a bigger bike. So this is just easy, just enjoyable, just totally relaxing. And if you're not out to achieve any performance levels or anything like that, if you're not out to do 100 kilometers an hour, power through the twisties or anything like that, if you're just out to relax and have the convenience of something that's so easy to use, it's great. Some other advantages I find, if I take the other more expensive bikes out, I'm worried about where I park them. I'm worried about security. With this one, I don't give it a second thought. You can park it anywhere, even though it's easy to lift up and throw on the back of a van or something. Would be fairly easy to steal. I don't really worry about it because it's never been a problem. I think people are probably less likely to steal a bike like this than something that's more desirable. And even if something does happen to it, it's so inexpensive anyway, it's not difficult to replace. And even though it's insured and everything else, it's just not something that enters my mind, I suppose. Of course, I did do a little bit of commuting on this bike when I was doing a few casual jobs, half an hour out of town and things like that. And on faster roads, yes, it does struggle in strong headwinds and on big hills and things like that. I think I will always have a scooter in the garage. I've toyed with the idea of trading this in on a Vespa, just so you get that retro look. I love my modern classics and my retro looking motorcycles, so that has been appealing. And another thing that has also been appealing to me is maybe getting something with a bit more power, a bit more ability to commute, and if you're going to commute, a little bit more wind protection and rain protection and things like that. And it has crossed my mind to trade this in on something like Yamaha X-Max 300. Much more expensive bike, far more powerful, still fairly small and light, but a lot more capable than this one is. But there still is something to be said by something that is so light, is so easy as this one. There's very few situations where the X-Max would provide me an advantage over this. The main one is if I was riding with people on other bikes, more powerful and things like that, and if I was out on the open road and needed to keep up with traffic and overtake more safely and things like that. So it has crossed my mind. Of course, I often ride with Riding Hood on her Bergman 200, and we've stopped at an intersection or something and she takes off. I can't keep up with her on this in terms of the acceleration. She doesn't even know she's leaving me behind. But I do struggle to, but I do catch up with her because generally I'm a faster rider than she is. but that's where it does show its limitations. But for this kind of thing I'm doing right now, just on some country lanes, out on some local streets, just out to soak in some of the beautiful weather and views, it's just as much fun as anything else. As long as I'm not riding to a deadline or need to be anywhere in a hurry, it's wonderful, and it does give me that very cruiser feeling, the same as I get on a cruiser, but with the lightweight and ease of use in being able to hop on and get out and enjoy things quickly without spending half an hour or an hour getting ready. So, the answer to the question, which I said at the beginning and I'll confirm at the end, is a small scooter like this just as enjoyable as a big bike and just as much fun as any other bike? The answer is most definitely yes. But of course it is horses for courses and what you're using it for. So what I'll do is stop in a minute, just have a very quick walk around. Obviously it's very basic, this bike. This doesn't have traction control, ABS, any rider modes. Just twist and go. And sometimes that level of simplicity is just fun. What do they say? The simple things in life are often the best. When you're riding along like this, doing 60 kilometers an hour right now, 35 miles an hour, the wind hitting me, I'm not kitted up fully. I do have protection on, but not as extreme as I would if I was out on the open road. It's just really, really enjoyable. Okay, we'll stop in a second and do a little walk around and then wrap up this video. I'd like to thank you for watching. I don't know if everyone's going to enjoy a video like this talking about a little 110cc scooter, but if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, a like, because that helps YouTube recommend my content to more people interested in biking like yourself. I'm a biker that enjoys everything. Every motorcycle is a good motorcycle in my book, and every motorcycle is fun to ride. Even my very original BSA Dandy when I was about 7 years old was an old bike someone gave me because they saw me admiring it on the back veranda of an old house. It had a Victor lawnmower engine bolted onto the side because the original engine wasn't working anymore. It had 2 gears with a neutral in between. The gear shift was on the handlebar. It had no brakes. The throttle you moved with your thumb. I have done a video about this, so you can go back through my catalogue and see it. But even that bike, with basically no suspension, no brakes, uneven weight, it leant out to one side, it had a flywheel that got caught on my jeans and everything else. Even that bike, the very first motorcycle I ever rode, was also extreme fun. And of course I didn't know any better at that time. But there she is, complete simplicity. Putter, 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 putter. I love the way the rear fender just pops up and down when it's on the centre stand like that. It's great to have a centre stand too. Not that it helps lube the chain, because there is no chain, being a belt drive. And it's not going to win any awards for sound. Of course it doesn't have a swing arm on this side. Very cool. It has 1 suspension on, not 2 on the back. It even gives me enjoyment just looking at it. See, very basic suspension here. And it has a kickstart. Not too many bikes these days, this is only about 3 years old, have a kickstart. And if you are putting around the streets and want to take a passenger, seat's perfectly capable for that. because of its noise and lack of noise and lack of wind noise, because you're not going very fast, it's easy to chat to the person behind, particularly if you're both wearing open face helmets. And it's not that top heavy with two people on, and it's capable of accelerating okay. Just enjoyable. In fact, I probably laugh more on this when I've got a pillion passenger on the back than I do on any other motorcycle. Simple and fun. Well, I hope that was enjoyable. If you haven't subscribed to the channel before, would really encourage you to do so. Again, it just helps recommend my content to more people. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and it lets more people like you know about my content. It's all what I do is about motorcycling, but there is a lot of variety within that, because I have a lot of variety in the bikes I own and ride, and that's what I love about it so much, that every day is different for me on two wheels, and I like to experience everything. For those who have subscribed before, thank you very much. Really enjoy your support. Means everything to me. This is just a small channel, me doing what I love and sharing it. And in wrapping up, again, thanks for watching, and wherever you are in the world, until I post the next video, or the next video you watch, happy motorcycling. Have a fantastic day or evening, and I hope you get some nice sunny weather like this where you are. Not bad for midwinter, middle of July here, right in the heart of winter. Nights are a bit cold, but days are hovering around 18 or 20 at the moment, about as cold as it's going to get here during the days. I think there were a couple down to 14 or 15 degrees. But I can already feel the weather is gradually starting to warm up. The nights aren't quite so cold. And here we are carving some corners. Also, I decided to record this video with a non-wireless mic in the helmet with a cable, because the sound won't be as good, but I do like to do some videos occasionally that show that nothing of what I do is AI generated. It's getting really hard to pick content that is AI generated, and I know some people would prefer not to have that, and so I want to ensure my viewers that I'm not doing it. Often I'll record the footage and then do the voiceover later, but I know that can sound like that it could be artificial, but I can assure you and guarantee on this channel it is not AI in any shape or form. Thank you. on, let's feel that power. It actually doesn't accelerate too bad at all for the size of the motor. Certainly handles beautifully. Little narrow tyres. It's got reasonable sized wheels for a scooter. They're not that small. The tyres are very narrow with its lightness, and that makes handling absolutely a breeze. And adds another element of fun to the bike.